Hi, guys. Welcome to the lineup. I'm Caroline Daly,
And I'm Abby Clivio.
and we have a little bit of a different episode today. We're doing an interview with someone we have mentioned before on our Women in Sports episode, Monica Bradburn. She's a photographer with the MLB, NHL, and we won't get into too much of it because we
She'll
just
tell you
talked to
all
her,
about that.
and she'll tell you all about what she does and all the questions we asked her. So, thought it would be good, Abby, to discuss some recent sports news real quick.
I know we'll just get into it. But there's one that
Yeah,
we forgot to mention that is
we'll add
sort of
in.
related.
Okay.
Um, well, I guess we'll start with
Yeah,
your Bengals and my Giants
this is
crossover episode.
crazy.
Hello.
Yeah, because it's both of our teams. Dexter Lawrence is a Cincinnati Bengal. Now, here's my thing. I don't know your exact I mean, we texted about it, and it was funny. I texted Abby, like, "Sexy Dexy is a Cincinnati Bengal," and she was like, "I'm gonna drink tonight."
I said I wasn't gonna drink tonight, but I miss Dexter Lawrence like a
Like a
mother effer.
whatever. I don't know what you said, but it was very funny.
Yeah,
And I was like, pour one out for him.
I did.
So, I'm very happy to have Sexy Dexy on the Bengals for the personality component, don't get me wrong. And the Bengals need all the help they can get on that D-line due to losing Trey Hendrickson, the sack leader last year. No worries to a rival in their division being the Baltimore Ravens. Anyways, so they need all the help they can get, but here's my problem.
Now
No
they
one
don't have
come
a
to
top
me.
10 pick.
I love Sexy Dexy, and I'm happy to have Sexy Dexy on our squad. However, the Bengals gave up their first round pick, which is pick number 10 in the draft that is coming up in a couple days.
Once this
It
is
will
out, yeah.
have it will be happening once this is
Once this
out.
is out, yeah.
And here's my thing. What is the biggest weakness that the Bengals have, Abby, that I mentioned pretty much every week in the NFL season?
Joe Burrow has no protection.
An offensive line. Exactly. Could have gotten an offensive lineman with that pick.
Really a pretty decent one at that, yeah.
So I'm trying to remain positive because I love Sexy Dexy on the squad for the vibes and just the TikTok videos alone.
I'm glad that you said that 'cause, I was gonna say that, like, what are they doing?
And
But this is
yeah.
huge for me. I
Yes.
I'm gonna miss him. Like I said, like, wasn't gonna drink tonight, but I miss Dexter Lawrence like a mother effer. A Futhermucker. Do you guys y'all don't know that. No, that's really niche. Watch the runarounds on Amazon Prime. Anyway, this is not sponsored. Um,
I wish it was.
I right. But 2 top 10 picks.
For the Giants, that is
I don't trust
team
Joe
altering.
Schoen at all. But with Harbaugh, behi I think people should be worried, and I'm not just saying that because 'cause I'm delusional.
No, I think that's fair.
I
If
think that's
everyone's
yeah,
healthy, yeah.
yes. But I don't know what the Bengals are doing. Thoughts and prayers for you.
Joe
Yeah.
Burrow, I knew this was gonna happen though. Like they could have had that pick. Here's the thing, as a Bengals fan, they could have had that pick and not gotten offensive lineman. Knowing them, they wouldn't have. So
Mhm.
it's like, I'll take Sexy Dexy.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When have
You
the
need a
Bengals
locker
made
room
like
guy also.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it. Um, so shout out Sexy Dexy. Number 2,
This is, also Giants related.
this yeah, go.
Look, the Chefsy texts, like, blowing up my phone like it's my like he's my ex.
Desperate X, Desperate
Yeah,
X,
not my
gotcha.
ex. A desperate ex.
A desperate X.
I didn't have one of those. Um, blowing up my phone. Normally, I'm at work, guys. I love D&D. When I'm at work, though, I can't have it
Abby
on.
does love D&D.
I do. I can't have it on at work. So, again, Shefty blowing up my phone like a desperate ex.
Yeah,
Normally, that drives me insane. This one did not drive me insane.
it didn't? Tell us
No, it
why.
did not. This just in. Wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. worked out for Giants and took a physical on Monday. What the fuck?
Immediately sent it to me. I was like, "What?"
And, like, the the picture and the one-handed catch and the, like, against the Cowboy
In the interview about his son,
In
how
the
he tells
interview
his
about his
son.
son and the thing he wrote for Players Tribute.
Abby, what if Odell Beckham is a New York Giant?
I would lose my mind, and I don't think he's necessarily, like, good anymore,
But I think it would be I
but,
like
like,
when players
he's
we're
coming home.
empaths. We connect to the stories of sports. Like I like when a player goes back to the team they first played for or that they played for the longest. Like I think that would be a good kind of I'm all for a full circle
But
moment.
first, yeah, he's coming home.
I'm all for a
Football.
full circle career moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, our last bit of news
Our
before
last
we go
one,
introduce you to Monica.
guys. Guys, guys. We were up on here literally last week's episode talking about
Blazing
college baseball, like
Georgia Tech.
blazing Georgia Tech. And then hey, there's a clip on the internet. Blazing Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets, Georgia Tech baseball. And guess what? I'm claiming them as our for this, okay? Guess what? Our North Carolina Tar Heels did this past weekend.
Swept them.
No, they didn't,
No, they
unfortunately.
didn't.
They won the series. They won the first 2 games. First game, I need to get the exact scores right. I want to make sure I say this correctly.
They run ruled them on
First
Saturday.
game, 5-2.
Mhm.
Pretty decent win, decent game. Also, highest attendance in Boshamer Stadium history.
That's and
Standing room only tickets. It looked fire in there. Abby, I just sent you also
that
a TikTok.
makes me so, like, infuriated because,
I'm
like,
mad we weren't there.
that and we hosted Boshamer Stadium has hosted how many postseason games?
A lot.
Do
Super
better.
regionals, if you will.
Do
But
better.
they're getting better. We're doing better, okay? And Friday is proof.
Mhm.
Okay, I just sent you a TikTok that you'll have to watch.
Okay.
That's like an edit of basically everyone on all of these podcasts, literally us also, doubting UNC and being like, Georgia Tech's unstoppable. UNC pitching sucks. They got to step it up. Owen Hull's not good. They won the series. They're number 2 in the country. They took the number 2 spot. First game, 5-2. Second game, 14-4 run rule in 8 innings.
Mhm.
UNC pitching, you are dogs. Owen Hull, you are a dog. Walker McDuffie, you are a dog. Jason DeCaro, you are a dog. You are all dogs. Ryan Lynch, you are a dog.
And I love this because when they lost in the Super last year, everyone was like, that was the best shot
That
this
was the
team has
best
had.
UNC team.
And I'm sitting in the car crying.
And
like,
yeah, that UNC
reminiscing
team
on
was like
my,
number 8 last year. This team is number 2.
Yeah.
3-2.
D1 baseball rankings, I'm impressed by you guys.
Yeah, and I mean,
talk shit about them a lot, but
UCLA is going to be in that top spot. I'm very happy with that. So listen, number 2,
period.
I'll take it.
Yes, ma'am.
I will be going to UNC Duke baseball in
Oh,
Durham
hell yeah.
Friday night.
Hell yeah.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
I haven't told you that yet. I love when we give each other live life updates on the pod.
Updates, yes.
Also, the tickets were only like $7.
That's because Duke isn't good this year.
Oh, okay. I was like, isn't that kind of like, it was like, not to be funny, $6 or $7.
Take a shot every time you hear 6-7 on this podcast.
From my mouth specifically.
From
So yeah, go Giants, Bengals, and Heels.
Yeah. And
like, who would have thought we would have a good day on the pod for all of our teams?
All of these things. Yes.
How are your Pirates doing? Is it a good day for them or not?
So you can follow us on Instagram and on Instagram.
I actually didn't know. Okay. So go Heels, Giants, and Bengals, and no one else. Okay.
No one else.
Go Yanks.
Go Yanks. Go Ben Rice. Just go Ben Rice.
Go Yanks. Go Humps.
Roll Humps. They lost the series, but roll Humps.
Roll Humps. Do we like any other team?
That's about it, I think. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoy.
Yes.
Monica Bradburn. She's coming up right now.
Do you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do to start?
Sure. My name is Monica Bradburn, and I'm one of the team photographers for the Detroit Tigers and the Detroit Red Wings. what I do is I take photos for those teams.
Okay, perfect. So kind of tell us, I know you're in a new role. So
Yes.
maybe tell us about that transition, what you were doing previously, your new role. Just kind of give us the whole rundown.
Okay, so previously I was an LCC for the MLB, which stands for Live Content Creator, and then I was a LSC for the NHL, which is Live Social Contributor. And it's basically the same exact thing, but just different titles. So what I was doing there is I was taking photos and videos at Tigers and Red Wings home games. So I was only shooting home games, and the live part of it was if a home run or a goal happened, I would instantly connect my phone to my camera and send those images off to social so they could post them like as soon as it happened. No editing, nothing like that. Just raw images and video for the teams, leagues, and then for MLB, it also got sent to the players, uh, so they could post them. Um, yeah, and how it was different from this job now is now I'm full time. The job before was part time, so it was only home games. Any editing that I did previously, I never got paid for. It was just in my own time. So uh, I always had a third job when I was working for MLB and NHL because working in part-time in sports, is just, like, not enough income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I yeah, I was kind of drowning because when I wasn't doing baseball or hockey, I was working my third job. Then if I wasn't working my third job, I would be over at baseball and hockey.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
and then finding time to edit and, like, make my TikTok videos for fun, like, was very, very little time. So now working full time for a team, I get paid for my edits, which is amazing. So I have office
Awesome.
hours. Um, and then I'm trying to think what else. Oh, now I'm just photo. I don't have to shoot video, which is awesome because that's what I am as a photographer. Um, I could shoot video, but I wasn't the best at it. I feel like a lot of people or a lot of jobs nowadays are photo and video. Um,
Mhm.
Which is, I would say, like, a benefit for a team or an organization more than it is for the person because I feel like doing both is you're better at one than the other. It just always seems to be that way. Like, I was way better at photo than video. I could get the job done, but it there you're always left hanging for one. Um, so yeah, with this job now, it's just photo. I get paid for my edits. I have office hours. I have a desk, sort of. We're still working on finding a space at Little Caesars Arena. But yeah, it's awesome. And now when I have off days, like I have off days, I can do whatever I want.
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about a third job or a second job or anything. So that's been really amazing. Um, and then I'm trying to think what else. Oh, uh, with my current job, there are little opportunities for travel. I'm hoping to go to a couple road series this year, which is really cool. And then if the Wings were to make playoffs, which they didn't, I would have traveled for that. And then if the Tigers make playoffs this season, then I would also travel for that. So that's pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
Very exciting.
So you were talking about how like live content creation, you were shooting video as well.
Yep.
Was that kind of like you're learning as you're going type of thing?
Well, I did take a video photography or not video, sorry, video class in college. So I kind of knew like what I was doing, but at the same time, yeah, I was kind of learning as I was going and then asking some of my coworkers, which is weird because when you're working for MLB and NHL, like you don't have coworkers at the ballpark. They're all at different ballparks. That's why you don't really travel because when the Tigers were to travel, let's say they go to Seattle. My friend Molly, who does what I did for the Tigers in Seattle, she photographs the Tigers. So we're also photographing the away teams while we're there, sending them content. So, um, yeah. So that's basically like why we didn't really travel or anything. Mhm.
You you mentioned kind of college or taking classes in college.
Yep.
Tell us more about college experience, what you majored in, where you went, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a photographer, and by very young age, I just mean like 7th grade. That's like when I got my first camera. Um, but when I went to high school, so I went to Catholic school from kindergarten till 8th grade. And then when I went to public school for high school, I didn't realize that there was like yearbook or photography or newspaper classes. So my freshman year, I also played the clarinet, so I was in marching band. So you like had to take a band class to do marching band your freshman year. So I was in band, and then once I realized like I could do like take a photography class or yearbook or newspaper class, I signed up for that, and I was the annoying student who like you had to try out for it, so you'd send in your like photos, and I literally believe that the photos that I submitted, there was one from the Justin Bieber concert that I went to. There was one from like the University of Michigan hockey game I went to with my family, just like from the stands on my little point and shoot camera. Um, but I was the student who I went in to the yearbook classroom every single day and I was like, "Did I make it? Did I make it? Did I make it?" Like, I was so eager to know. And then finally, my yearbook teacher, her name was Mrs. Bunka, and she's like one of those teachers who, really impacted my life. Um, Finally, she's like, "Well, we aren't done yet, but you made it. Like, leave me alone." And I'm like, "Yay." So, I, ended up just being like a photographer for yearbook and then worked my way up to senior year. I was photo editor for yearbook and newspaper. And then Mrs. Bunka, she went to Central Michigan for journalism. And she told me that they had a really good photojournalism program. And I was not very good. I was good at school. Like, I'm pretty sure my GPA was like a 3.6, something like that. 3.5, 3.6, but I was not good at testing, like the ACT. I
Yeah. Yep.
It's, like, embarrassing, like, my score was, like, 18, and then took it again, and I got a 16, and then I took it again, and I got an 18 again, and I was like, "It is what it is."
That's enough. Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't
"Hopefully
even
this is
take
fine."
it, so
Oh, you didn't?
no,
Because
could
don't they,
not.
like, not do that now? Like, it's something
Yeah,
different now?
I
I
didn't
think
submit I transferred, so it's
Okay,
different because I went to community college and then transferred, but it was, like, COVID time, so we didn't have to submit
right.
SATs, ACTs, none of it.
that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
No, I had to submit both
you
of
had
them.
to?
I was like, "Don't
Oh.
look at my SAT score,
Yeah.
please." Now
Well,
it's
like
optional.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it, like, didn't make sense for me because, I ended up doing an on-site admission because I also just hated writing, like, essays and, like, "Why do you
Mhm.
wanna go to this school?" And, like, I did not wanna do that, so I only applied to Central Michigan, and I applied, by an on-site admission, so an admissions advisor came to my high school and, like, interviewed me.
Oh,
She's
okay.
like, "Monica, your grades are really great, but I'm just really confused on your ACT score, like, we see that you got a 16." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I also got an 18." And she was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Does it not say that?" And she's like, "No, this changes everything, like, you're in." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." So I got into Central. Um, so I really didn't have, like, a plan B if that didn't work out. Actually, that's semi a lie because I thought about going to Lansing Community College in Michigan, um, but I really didn't wanna do that. I really wanted to go to Central. So it all worked out. I used my time at CMU to figure out like what type of photography I wanted to go into because I really didn't know. Um, from high school, I was photographing like plays or yeah, plays that the school would put on. I shot sports, community events, like all different aspects. Um, and I don't know, I really didn't have besides like Mrs. Bunka, I really didn't have a person who was into photography that knew the jobs that I could do. Um, so when I went to Central, I knew that there was a newspaper there called CM Life. So I went and applied and worked for CM Life. I think it was my freshman, sophomore, and then part of my junior year. I worked for them, but I was shooting sports. I was shooting concerts at the school. Um, I was doing like town hall meetings, community events again. If somebody came and like spoke to the campus, I would photograph that. Um, I remember I photographed like sorority recruitment. Um, and it was just like stuff that would be in the newspaper. They also wanted us to do spot news, which spot news is anything that happens that's not planned. So like a
Mhm.
car accident, or
No.
a fire, or like it's like very newsworthy stuff that most people don't like to do. And I found out that I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I was like, newspaper is not for me. But that's the first thing that kind of introduced me to sports. I also took a fashion photography class, which that was okay. uh I wasn't really into like posing the models, and I'm not really into fashion. I'm not very fashionable at all. But I do credit a lot of that class to learning how to set up lights, use on-camera flash, which is very important in sports because you're doing headshots of the players, you're doing team photos. There's always a media day every year, so you're setting up different studio sets to take fun shots of the players for marketing and for graphics and for the scorecard and whatever the organization may need those photos for. That's kind of where I learned how to use the lights. Um, I lived in Alaska for 4 months in college, and I did nature photography, which that was honestly the time of my life. Um, and if I didn't get so homesick and if I wasn't, like, so stuck to Michigan, nature photography is something that's, like, my dream job. Even obviously, like, I love sports, but it would just it's there's nothing like being out in the sedge meadows just, like, photographing the bears. Like, it's
That's
so
so
cool.
cool.
That is cool. Yeah, and being able to, like, travel and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mhm,
And I wouldn't mind doing that, like, even though I work for baseball and hockey, so there really is no off season, but, like,
mhm.
going there and photographing it for like a week or so, but I could not live there for forever.
No.
Um, so that was a really cool experience with nature photography. I also did more PR photography. So I worked for Central Michigan University, and I was taking photos for the university that made it look like CMU is the best school that you could ever go to. Like, it was going on ads and billboards and pamphlets. And so you're photographing different like fun events around campus, and like photographing students who are fired up to be there and like happy, and just showing like all the positive uh, things about Central. And that, again, that was fine, but it just didn't like light me up. Um, but from working for the newspaper, I shot my first basketball game, and the arena was called McGurk Arena. And I remember walking in there. It was a men's basketball game, and it was just packed, and like the energy was so sick. And I was like, wait, this is super fun. And it's realistic for me, and I'm actually really good at it. So then I started to think about, okay, maybe I could be like a sports photographer. But again, like, I really didn't know anybody who was like doing that. I feel like not that teams didn't have team photographers, because they've always had team photographers, but they haven't been very like known. Like, the only one who I knew of in college, his name was Billy, and he was the Red Sox team photographer. He's not there anymore, but he was like the first person who um I saw that actually did what I was like envisioning in my head. So when I graduated, I it's funny too because like I look back on it and I'm like, "Oh my god, I like manifested this," because we had to do like a senior exit type of portfolio thing, and we had to write like what our goal is, and I said that I wanted to be like a team photographer for one of the Detroit sports, and like here we are. So it's kind of crazy. Um but when I graduated, I applied to any sports internship I could find. It didn't have to be baseball or hockey. That's just kind of what happened. But I applied to Pittsburgh Steelers, Indianapolis Colts, Boston Red Sox, Minnesota Twins, uh, and Arizona Diamondbacks. I had an interview with the Diamondbacks, and I had an interview with the Colts, and the Diamondbacks ended up offering it to me, and the Colts did not. So 2019, after I graduated in 2018, moved out to Arizona for a year and was an intern for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that was like exactly what I wanted to do. The job was awesome. The organization for the Diamondbacks is awesome. Like, I have nothing bad to say about the Diamondbacks. They're amazing. To this day, like, a lot of my friends are still working for the Diamondbacks out there. And yeah, they're an amazing organization to work for. I felt even as an intern, like they would include you, and like we would do these things called lunch and learns, which they would have a VP from different parts of the organization come and talk to the interns. And like at every single lunch and learn, the owner of the Diamondbacks would be there and like talking to us
That's
all too.
awesome.
Like
Mhm.
he was so involved. They're a great organization. Um, but again, that homesickness came into play. I was like, I love this, but I just can't do this here. Like I need to figure out how to go back to Michigan and like do this there. And like I said prior, I had no idea who the Detroit Tigers team photographer was. I had no idea who any of the team photographers were in Detroit. And so I ended up reaching out to a couple people who I had known like in the industry in Michigan. Again, like no one really knew. Like it was so not like hush hush because it's not, but it's just like no one really knew. Um, so I ended up meeting in Arizona. I met the person who was the LCC for the Diamondbacks for the MLB in Arizona. And I had worked with them all season. So once my time was coming to an end with the Diamondbacks, I asked him, I was like, do you know if the MLB is hiring for your position, but in Detroit? And they were like, I have no idea, but I've worked with you all season. I've seen your work ethic. Like, I trust you. Here's my boss's contact information and reach out to them and ask and just see if they're hiring in Detroit. And I'm like, perfect. So I ended up reaching out to the MLB LCC advisor, bosses, I guess you'd say. Um,
Mhm.
And they told me to reach back out in January because when I was leaving the Diamondbacks, they didn't make it to the postseason, but it was like the time that the postseason was starting. And so they're like, we're not even thinking about like next season. But they're
Right.
like, reach back
Yeah.
out in January. And like we'll let you know. I'm like, great. But then they ended up emailing me again and they said, actually, there's this thing called the Arizona Fall League, because I had one more month left in Arizona. So they said there's this thing called the Arizona Fall League, and what that is all the top prospects in baseball go to Arizona and they're put on teams so that way scouts and fans can see like the next top prospects in baseball. So when I was still in Arizona, they hired me for that. And just to like put it into perspective, when I shot the Arizona Fall League, like Julio Rodriguez, he was in the Fall League. Um, I'm trying to think who else. Jaron Duran, he was in the Fall League. So like all these guys who are like stars now, like that's like they were in that when I was there. Um, so yeah, so I shot that and I think that I did a good job because when I came back to Michigan and emailed them in January, I was supposed to have like an interview and I never did. And they just hired me. And I had been with the MLB for 7 seasons, but my second season in, a lot of people who work for the Tigers also work for the Red Wings. So I had been recommended by somebody who worked for the Tigers. The NHL like reached out to them because they had been previously employed by the NHL and they asked for any recommendations for the LSC position and they recommended me. So then that's how I got in with the NHL in Detroit. Um, yeah, and so those 2 part-time jobs were amazing at the time, and so I just kind of waited it out until, there was a full-time position in Detroit because that's ultimately like, once I was, like, 3 or 4 seasons in with the MLB and NHL, I was like, "This is where I wanna be, like, this is what I wanna do," and so I was just patient, and I just waited and waited and waited, um, and I do have more to say, but I feel like I've been yapping a lot, so I don't know if you want me to keep going because I will. Um, but but yeah, that's basically kind of the summary of that part.
No, I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
if
amazing.
you do have more to say to, like, continue the story, feel free. If you want us to go ahead and, like, ask another question, we can do that also.
Well,
But
I do have like a little bit more.
Okay, you
yeah, go
go.
ahead.
You
Okay.
go.
So basically when wait, there what now I lost my train of thought. I'm like, dang it. I'm like, I cut it off and then I was like, wait, I do have something else to add, but then I lost my train of thought. There's something about my current job. I think I was just gonna say something to the effect of like I I knew I know what it was. I know what it was. Okay. So Allison, she's the lead team photographer for the Tigers and the Red Wings. So she's my boss. I started in 2020. She technically also started in 2020, but then it like got weird with COVID. So I think she only shot like 1 or 2 games. Um, and then there was sort of like some confusion, but then she came back in 21. So we basically have been with MLB and NHL and Tigers and Red Wings in Detroit for the same amount of time, but she was freelance. So then when she got hired on full time, she was just doing Tigers as well. So they decided to make the team photographer position one position for the Tigers and the Red Wings. And the reason being is the Illiches, who also own Little Caesars Pizza, they own the Tigers and the Red Wings and Little Caesars Pizza, and they also own like other companies as well, but those are the main three. So they thought of just having one team photographer for 2 teams, which is it's a lot for one person.
Yeah.
So Allison did that by herself for about 2 years, I believe. But so when she was hired on full time, about a year in, she was like, "I'm gonna need some help. We got to figure out how to get some help." And I'm like, "I would like to be the help." Because that's when I was like, "I need a full-time job. Like I can't keep having 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy." Um But I know that they were, like, figuring things out within the organization, so it did take quite a while, for me to or for the job to even exist. Um, so in the meantime, that's when I would have my 3rd job, and, I really wanted to buy a house, so I needed better income. So last year, I ended up getting a full-time job at a marketing company. They were like a billboard company, so they sold billboards and advertisements around Detroit. And so my job was to go to said billboard and photograph the billboard with a bunch of traffic. Because they wanted to send the billboard to the advertiser and be like, look how many people are seeing your billboard or your advertisement or whatever. But that job was great because it was full time and benefits, and it was right across the street from Tigers and Red Wings. And they knew that this is like what I did, and they were okay with working around my baseball and hockey schedule. Um, so I guess a really big piece of advice too for somebody who's like just starting out in sports is like the pay is very low, but there are ways to figure out like if this is your passion and this is your dream and you know this is what you want to do, like there's ways to figure out how to make it work, and like you just have to be patient. Um because everything will work out the way it's supposed to. Um because always like when I've been part-time in sports, I always had a 3rd job or I always was doing something else to keep that income coming in. And even when I first graduated from college, I was unemployed and living at home before the Diamondbacks for like 4 or 5 months. But I was working at a tanning salon. I also worked at the local newspaper, just shooting like high school sports. But I just wanted to keep my portfolio fresh and keep my skills fresh. And so it's just so important. Just like get out there and just do something. Just do something because it's always better to have a job while you're looking for a job, in my opinion, because it just shows that like you have that drive and that determination. And I had the interview with the Diamondbacks, and I also had a job at these are all like different times in my life, but I had a job at a library, and I would like travel around to the different libraries in the Genesee County, and the Diamondbacks scheduled an interview with me at a time that I was at work for the library. And so I asked the librarian, I was like, is it okay if I take this interview? And we really didn't have like a back room. So I took the interview in a cleaning closet. And so when they first answered the call, there's like cleaning supplies behind me and everything. And they're like, where are you at? And I'm like, well, I'm currently at work and we don't really have a back room. So I'm in the cleaning closet. And they're like, all right. They're like, well, I'm just proud of you for making it work. And like, it just shows that, like, I don't know. It just shows, like I said, like your drive and determination, like that you'll do anything attitude, you know? Um, but yeah, so I just waited out my time as a MLB, LCC, and LSC because I knew I wanted to be in Detroit. And then finally, once that job came up, I was like, this is perfect. And it was like the job was posted the day after my birthday. And it was so funny because Allison, my boss, came over. I had like a little, I just turned 30. So it was my 30th like karaoke birthday party. That's all I wanted to do was sing with my friends. And she wrote in the birthday card, like, this is going to be the best year yet, or like the best decade yet. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, but like I really didn't like think anything of it. And so when she told me the next day that my job was posted, and then she was like, that's why I wrote that in the card. I was like, dang, I didn't even put that together, but now I'm
Yeah.
like, but
That is
yeah,
that
that was just the other thing I wanted to add.
No,
Yeah.
I totally agree because I'm in local news right now or I'm doing sports. But
Mhm.
and I tell kids all the time, like I just went back to ECU where I went to school and I talked to a journalism class and I was like, local news teaches you everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm writing, I'm editing, I'm taking
Mhm.
photo, which I have not done since high school. Like so I totally agree that like, you gotta put in the work and you
You have
have
to
to
be like
too.
a jack of all trades, I feel like,
Yeah.
when you're starting
And
out and you wanna be in sports.
right. And I also
Mhm.
think that there's some sort of like stigma around like, oh, I'm shooting high school sports, or I'm just shooting like my son or daughter's little league games or whatever. Like, who cares? That's awesome. Like at least you're out
Yeah.
there shooting. Like I got really upset at that one trend that was going around on TikTok and Instagram where um I forget if it was an Akon song or like I forget what song, but it was like the first part of it said something to the fact of like, oh, he asked, or I told him I worked in baseball, and he said little league, and then it's like, then the next one was like, no, and it shows like they're flashing all their photos in MLB stadiums or like NHL arenas or whatever, and I'm like, who cares if it is little league? So then it just actually was perfect because it just so happened that the weekend that that trend was like going crazy, I went to see my nephew in his little league tournament, or not tournament, but game. And so I brought my camera and I took some videos of him. And at the time he was 6 or 7. But sorry, I had to.
Carolyn does it every week.
I do it every time.
It's like you just can't not.
You
You
have
can't not.
to.
At this
Yeah,
point,
you have to
Right.
acknowledge it. It's like, "Okay, let's get this out of the way."
Yes, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I flipped that trend and I put on it, I said, oh, I told him that I'm a sports videographer and he said MLB and I said, or the holy airball. That's what it was, the airball. Do you guys remember
oh,
that trend?
yes.
Oh, yes,
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 that's what
yes.
it was. So and then I did like this sick edit of my nephew like playing little league because at the end of the day it's like who cares? You're out there shooting, you're practicing your skills, you're becoming better every day. It's like who cares if you're shooting the highest players or little league guys, you know? I feel like that's how everybody starts somewhere. It's like Tony Hawk wasn't always a pro skater, you know? So that's just the way that I see it. And I agree. Like just if you're out there working on your skills, it's like that's awesome.
Speaking of TikTok,
Yeah.
Yes.
how did you decide to get started, filming yourself while you were working and kind of building that platform?
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this is how we were, like, introduced to you. This is how I
Yeah.
feel like we first saw you and we were like, "We wanna have her on."
yes. So TikTok honestly happened kind of out of spite, I would say. So this is kind of a long-winded story, but I swear I could talk for forever. But it started, I did my first season with the MLB in 2020. And then once that season ended, I started talking to this man, or boy, I should say. He was not a man. So I started talking to him. We ended up dating, and then he broke up with me because he said that photography wasn't a real job, that I don't make enough money to be with him, and that it would probably be smart if I ended up just getting a 9 to 5 because it's more stable. And I was like, what? I'm like, that's crazy. Like, this is my dream. This is what I want to
That's
do.
your
I'm
passion, yeah.
right. And so for
Okay.
somebody who like I thought I loved to say that, I was like, this is nuts. So we ended up breaking up, and I just felt like I was like, "Does it not matter?" I was like, I don't know. I just like having somebody say that to you, it's just terrible because you think you think that you know what you want, and then for somebody to like say those things to you, it's like, "What do you mean?" And like, am I not doing the right thing? Is photography stupid? Like, is this a stupid job? Like, I already knew going into it like I wasn't going to make a ton of money. Like that money was never a driving factor for me. Like if I wanted money, I would have been done something else. But I
Working a
love
9 to 5,
photography.
yeah, or something.
Right. I love
Yeah.
photography and like I love shooting sports. And so it was just crazy to me. But I was talking to my little cousin, and now she's like 18. So she's technically not little anymore. But um yeah, I was talking to her and I was just feeling like I was in a creative rut and I was just feeling like I don't know. I was explaining everything to her and she's like, "Have you ever thought about like making TikToks?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, I just feel like, your job's really interesting and I feel like people would want to see like you make TikToks and stuff." And I was like, "Isn't TikTok just like for dancing?" Because that's basically like all I really knew it for. And she's like, "No, you can make like cooking videos. I've seen people do like DIY like craft videos." She's like, "You should make like photography videos of what you do at work." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." I was like, "It seems like a lot of work." And she's like, "Well, you can also connect your Instagram from your TikTok and like people can go and see your photos." And I was like, "Wait, I kind of really like that because that's like what I was kind of missing because he was telling me that my photography didn't matter and that it was like stupid. And I wanted to prove that like photography does matter and that it's not stupid and
Mhm.
like it's cool and what I do is cool and that I'm good at it, you know?" And so once she said that, I was like, "Okay, I'll think about it." So at the end of the 2020 season, it was the last game I had. I ended up attaching a GoPro to my camera. And I did that in college because we had an assignment called a personal vision video. And so basically, it was a video talking about your passion for photography or like um, kind of like your goal of what you wanted to do. So you could put it on your website for employers when they look at your website, they can like hear you talk about your passions rather than just like reading a resume. They could kind of see like your vision and like hear you speak about your passion. So I actually attached a GoPro to my camera in college. Um so then when I did that for the 2020 at the last game of the 2020 season, the guys had gotten to know me, especially because the 2020 season, no one was at the ballpark. It was like when they had those cardboard cutouts in the
Yeah.
stands.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Um, that was crazy, but it was
Yeah.
honestly like a perfect time to start because again, like I feel like the guys got to know me. I got to learn the stadium really well because no one was there. So I would just get there early and just walk around Comerica and like find cool different spots that, to shoot from and everything.
Mhm.
Um, so I had that footage from the 2020 season and I ended up editing that and like putting together like this little video like photograph. It was back when a lot of people would use like that TikTok voice and it'd be like photograph MLB game
Oh,
here. And it
yes.
sounds like a
Yep.
robot, you know?
Yep.
So that was the first video that I put together. I posted it and like this is probably me exaggerating, but it literally seemed like within like a day or 2 days, it had like 50,000 views. It was like crazy. And so I like texted McKenna and I'm like, what? That was my little cousin. I'm like, what is going on? And she's like, I told you the people will love it. The people will love it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So then I started making videos of like I put together like little edits of my photos and a couple of video clips to songs. And I was just like being creative with like my TikTok videos. And then I decided to do a day in the life. And this is where everything kind of started. So I was recording a day in the life of opening day. And opening day, we always do these things called arrival photos,
Mhm.
um, which it's more, um, I feel like NFL and NBA guys like dress more swaggy and
Yeah, they
have, like,
do.
better outfits, which is
Mhm.
no shade to MLB players because some of them do have very,
Yeah.
very, like, fancy and like nice looking outfits, but a lot of the guys are just casual and they're just wearing jeans and a t-shirt and boots, which is a lot of the Tigers. Uh, so on opening day, I was doing a day of my life. So I was just getting little clips of everything that I was doing. And part of my day was arrival photos. Um, and at the time, like I didn't have a phone tripod or anything. And so I just had my phone and I set it on the ground and I kept hating the angle that I was getting because I kept getting a double chin. Because obviously, when you put your phone on the ground and it's shooting up, like, of course,
Shooting up. Yeah.
yes. So I kept moving my phone around. And I basically had every single guy who came down the hallway, like I had a clip of them because I was trying to just get a good clip of myself photographing the guy, but I kept hating it. Um, and then when Miggy came down the hallway, this was probably, I think it was 2022. So I don't even think I think I was just making like fun little videos in 2021. I think it was 2022, but I could have my years mixed up. But the guys had, like, gotten to know me, they see me around all the time, and I should have known that Miggy was, like, gonna do something, but he comes down the hallway, and I'm photographing him, and then he comes up to me, and he, like, daps me up, and I just, like, was not expecting that, and I'm very expressive, and so once he passed me, I was just like I was like, "That's crazy," like, I just was like, "This is" I just, like, was not expecting him to do anything. Um, so then over at the Red Wings, the social team, we have a group chat with the Red Wings social, and I sent it to them and I was like, you guys, Miggy just dapped me up, and they're like, Monica, that video is so funny, like you have to post that. And I was like, well, I don't want to just post a random video of Miggy dapping me up. I was like, that seems just kind of odd. I was like, I basically have all the guys coming down the hallway. I was like, what if I made like an arrivals video or something? And they're like, yeah, do that, do that. So I ended up making an arrivals video of the Tiger guys, and then I'm in the hallway with Allison. And over the years, like she's become one of my best friends, and like I was in her wedding and everything. And so those videos became really successful too, because it's like I'm just like in the hallway with my best friend, just like yapping it up. And so in between the guys coming down the hallway, I would insert like little clips of just like us talking about our weekends or talking about like what's new in our lives, or I'm really into music and Allison's pretty into music, but I feel like I'm always keeping her updated on like the current songs and stuff. And so we would discuss like, hey, have you heard the new Taylor Swift album? And she's like, no, I haven't. And I'm like, listen to these 3 songs. And I put that in there. And then people in the comments would be like, oh my God, those are my favorite songs too. And so like I feel like those videos really worked because one, like they got to see their favorite players. And sometimes they would interact with me. And um, a lot of the guys didn't know, which how would they know? Because I literally had my phone propped up against a water bottle. Um, they didn't know that I was making those videos, but once they started going, like, super viral, the wives saw them, and so the wives would, like, send them to them and be like, "Have you seen Monica's new video?" And, um, back when it, like, first started, like, everyone thought that it was so fun, and it was just like it just, like, brought back that confidence that that guy took away. I was like, "This is cool, and people do wanna see this, and my job does matter," and, like, um I don't know, I just felt like it was fun to show off the different personalities of the guys, and some of them would wanna be in the video. And, one memory that really sticks out to me is, um, Tarek Skubal, who's, like, double Cy Young winners, like, the best pitcher in baseball right now. I remember when he was walking down the hallway, and it's in one of my videos, he was like, "Monica, like, how many followers are you up to now?" And I think at the time it was like 300,000 or something, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's so crazy." And he's asking me like if I'm making money from TikTok, and now it's like I look at him and he's almost at 300,000 followers on Instagram, and it's just like it's crazy to see like the growth um of both of us, and just like how everything turned out. But yeah, so it kind of started out of spite for that guy, but then it just became like fun and a passion of mine, and people really enjoy it. And I did one this season, but I just haven't edited it yet, but it's coming.
I think the first video that I saw of yours on TikTok was that, like, entrance video and
Yep.
all of the guys, like, they had no idea in that
Yeah.
first video that you were
I
filming
think
them.
I saw the Taylor Swift one.
Oh, you
I
did?
saw, like, you talking about talking about
Mhm.
songs with her or something like
Yeah.
that. It was just,
Yeah.
like, a conversation kind of casual in the hallway.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's why it really worked. There was, I tried to do one, because like some like companies and brands like reached out to me and they're like, you should do an arrivals video for us, or you should do this, but like it's just not the same. Like I had worked so hard to like build that trust with like the guys in Detroit and like Allison being one of my best friends. Like I just it's not the same. Like if I was to do an arrivals video for a different team, like these guys don't know me, you know?
Right.
It
Mhm.
worked because of the connections that I had made in Detroit. Um so yeah, it's just it couldn't be replaced.
Do you have a favorite video that you've done, like, so far, or at least from this season so far?
I'll be honest, I've only posted 2. I have only posted
That's
2 so
okay.
far. But I did one. It was my friend Julia. She's the team reporter for the Houston Astros. She did a video where it was the sound "Twas the Night Before Christmas," but she changed it to like "Twas the Night Before Opening Day," and she's like laying in
Mhm.
her bed, and her husband's like recording her, and her outfit is like laid out on top of the sheets and everything on the covers.
I love those videos. Yes.
Yes. I was like, "That is so cute." I was like, "I have to save this and I'm gonna do it for Detroit opening day." Um, and I don't have a husband or anything and I live alone, and so I didn't know how I was gonna record this, and so I tried doing it on a tripod, but it just, like, wasn't what I wanted it to be, and so I duct taped my phone to the ceiling, and I ended up doing it that way, but that video, I just was like, "That's so fun and funny," and, like I said earlier, like, I'm not fashionable, so it's literally just, like, a pair of joggers and a t-shirt and, like, my tall white socks that I wear, but yeah, I thought that one was super fun.
I
I
have
feel like oh, go
another
ahead.
random question I had thought of. This is kind of like
Mhm.
going backwards, but what is it that you love so much about Michigan? Like you were born and raised there, went to college there,
Mhm.
wanted to stay there. What is it
Yeah.
that you love about Michigan so much?
My family.
Mhm.
I have a bunch of little cousins, and when I was in Arizona, like I was missing their dance recitals, and now before I didn't, but now I have nephews. They technically live in Indiana. They're like 3 hours away, but it's still closer than Arizona. But I'm just such a family-based person. My dad has 8 brothers and 1 sister, and my mom has 4 sisters and 2 brothers. So like I have a huge extended family, and I just felt like I was missing everything. Um, so technically it's not necessarily Michigan, though it is, but it's like my family. Like I was getting so sick of like missing things. Um and especially like my little cousins and the one, who's 18 now who told me to start TikTok and everything. Like I just couldn't bear to like be away from them. So it was definitely that factor.
Okay,
That's
sorry,
so
Abby, you
fair.
go. Yes.
'Cause, well, people talk about that a lot with, like, working in sports, like, they're
Mhm.
like, "You have to be able to, like, leave."
Yeah.
But if y like you said, like, if you're patient,
Yeah.
something will
You can
happen
get
for you
back
where
there.
you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
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 Get where you wanna be.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Definitely with like networking and just figuring it out. Like it'll take some time, but I mean, nobody stays in one position for forever. Um, there's always openings. They're slim and you have to be patient with it, but like something will come up. Um, and like kind of going back to what we said before, like it might not be a professional team that comes up, but it could be like a minor league team or it
Mhm.
could be, I don't know, something else. But it's like
Something.
what's meant for you will not pass you up. So
You go.
Do you have a favorite part of your job?
That was gonna be one of my next ones, yeah.
I think my favorite part is like documenting the history of the team. Um, you know, I think that the biggest thing that I photographed in my career so far has been Miggy's retirement.
Mhm.
Um, that like I look back and I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime thing for him. And I also think like, I mean, there's home runs that happen all the time. Um, I mean, if it's a debut or like their first home run ever, like that's super awesome. But then there's like little moments that happen, um, that are once in a lifetime too. It was, I think, the 2022 season. Miggy hit the first home run um, in all of MLB for that season to start, and it like downpoured snow, like it was a whiteout. I'm not even kidding you. Like as soon as he hit the ball, like it just started downpouring snow. Like he didn't even know if he hit a home run. He stopped it, so he
I
like
couldn't
slid into
see.
second base, and he was like looking around, and then the ump was saying like you can keep going, and so then it ended up being a home run. Um, but like that's one of my favorite photos I've ever taken of him. Um, but yeah, I think it's just like capturing those memories and the history of the teams, because every year is so different. Um, yeah, I think that's my favorite part. And also like the people that I work with are so fun. Like I keep talking about her, but how could I not? Like Allison, she's like my best friend. And then working for the Red Wings, I got really close with this girl named Michelle. She's the Red Wings graphic designer. And she's one of my best friends too. And it's like just the you guys are working long hours together, and it's like the bonds that you create. And even some of the player wives, like he's not on our team anymore, but Zach Short, his wife Fallon, Zach came up to me one day at batting practice, and he was like, "Monica, my girl," at the time it was his girlfriend. "My girlfriend's obsessed with you and wants to be your best friend." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "She watches all your videos, and she told me to tell you that she's obsessed with you and wants to hang out." And I was like, "Well, I hope I get to meet her one day." And then we ended up meeting at spring training, and like I was invited to their wedding, and like it's just like it's a family aspect. Like I love working there.
That's girlhood.
Yeah.
What have you kind of what's something that you've learned throughout your career? What's like your biggest takeaway so far?
Hmm. My biggest takeaway. Um, I think my biggest takeaway is probably just like I kind of already said this, but like just patience and um the industry, like it seems so big, but it's like so small.
Yeah.
And so just being patient and making those good connections, and realizing that's what's meant for you will come to you. Um and just enjoying it, because I feel like my first couple of seasons, like I remember opening day, like I'd be so frazzled. I'd be like, oh my gosh, this day is so important, and like I wouldn't even enjoy it. Like I'd just be so nervous. And now it's gotten to the point where I'm like, wait, this is sick. This is so
Mhm.
sick that I'm here, and like I love that I'm here. And I mean, that'll just come with time, because obviously nerves will always hit you the first couple of years. But like opening day this year, I just felt so calm. And I was like, this is so fun. And I was taking it all in. And probably part of that too is now that I'm working for Allison, like we split up everything so evenly that like I wasn't rushing around. Um, like she was shooting something, then I was going to shoot something, but it was so evenly split up that like I wasn't stressed. I was just enjoying the day. And like I got to do they did this parade to the park from Campus Martius, which is like downtown Detroit. And then walked down Woodward back to the ballpark. And it was with like the Rally Cats, who are the Tigers cheerleaders, and then Paws, who's the Tigers mascot. And to get down to Campus Martius, we all rode in a golf cart, and I got really close with one of the Rally Cats. Her name's Callie. She's one of my best friends as well. And so we were on the golf cart, and then a couple other rally cats were on there, but Paws was like holding on to the side. And we're just like making fun videos of just like us going down there. And so, yeah, I forget why I was even telling the story, but just taking it all in. Like it's such a blessing, and like it's so fun. And so, yeah, I think that's like another thing that I've learned is really taking it in, and you know, appreciating it, because sometimes I feel like we're just so caught up in stress and everything, but it's like, this is sick.
Yeah. You've talked about like you mentioned so many of these female friendships.
Mhm.
What would kind of be your advice to like girls wanting to get into what you do, whether it be photography, sports, just what would you kind of tell them because it is harder, I would say, to break into the industry kind of as a girl.
Yeah. You're gonna get a lot more no's than yes, which is fine because, like I've said 80,000 times, what's meant for you will not pass you up. So, I mean, I look back to when I was first applying to jobs because honestly, like I haven't really applied to jobs since then, because I knew that this is where I wanted to be. But like the Boston Red Sox said no to me, and now I look back and I'm like, oh, that was like everything happens for a reason. You know, you're sad in the moment, but it's like, what's that saying about the closed door, another one opens? Like that's just like so true. And I know it's so annoying and it's probably like I've heard that a million times, but it's just so true because that's the crazy thing about the future. Like you don't know what's gonna happen, but it all will work out and everything will be okay. And I think cherishing those female friendships in sports is awesome because I couldn't do without my girls. Um, especially like if we need to debrief or if like something happens, then we gotta talk about it. It's just like I don't know. I feel very blessed and very fortunate that all the organizations that I've ever worked for, Diamondbacks and Tigers and MLB, like I've had amazing women that I've worked with that I'm able to trust and talk to them about things. Um, I know that's not the case for every woman who works in sports, but I've honestly I've had the best time and I feel so lucky and fortunate. But yeah, just cherishing those female friendships is like the best thing that you can do.
I feel like that is like the perfect like wrap up to everything. Like that was so like
Okay,
because
great.
no that yeah, that was perfect.
That was
Yeah, we have
perfect.
if you guys enjoyed today's episode and want a little bit more of us, you can follow us on TikTok and on Instagram at the lineup_sports_pod. You can also that's also our YouTube, actually.
Yeah.
So be sure to like and subscribe
How
if you are a
convenient.
podcast watcher. If you are a
Also,
podcast
follow Monica.
yes, follow Monica Bradburn. Her socials will be down below if you are watching
Instagram,
on YouTube.
TikTok, all the
Instagram and
things.
TikTok. Yes. Go look at her content. I'm a big fan of it. Photography and her
Our
social media
TikTok
content.
queen, as we call her.
Yes. I will be talking about her on our episode with the Batchmakers. Actually, that will be out before this is out.
Facts. We just got so much content coming out,
Well,
Abby.
yeah, just so much stuff
Left
going
and
on.
right.
So keep up with us. Follow us. If you're a podcast listener, you can follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on Spotify as well. And if you're
Yeah.
really into us, you can follow us on Instagram. Mine is Abby and Clavio.
And mine is Carolini Daily.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.